What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of NBA Live Before Lock here at Stochastic. I am Eric Lindquist. You can follow me at Eric Lindquist over on X, and I am joined, as I normally am, over the course of these weeks where, Greg's gone, everybody's gone, and, well, it's me and Chris left to fend for all of you here in the street. 7 games. It's going to be an awesome Tuesday. Go follow him at Chris Spags. Go follow me at Eric Lindquist while you're at it as well over on X. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about yesterday. How'd you do? Specs?
I didn't do terribly, but it would have been better if Kelly Oubre didn't have the foul trouble and wasn't that terrible and that game hadn't become a blowout early. But, it was one of those things where I feel like there's some slates you feel like you really have your finger on the pulse of. That was one. Things were moving around a lot as we were on the air. It just felt like I didn't ever really dial it in the way that I would have liked. But ultimately, you get most of your money back on a day. You can take it or leave it. And today, I feel like every slate we get, it's just one team overloaded to the gills. Yesterday, Memphis. Today, it's the other M team, Miami.
Yeah. The other M's, it's the M&M crew on Monday, Tuesday, but looking forward to this slate at least. And obviously, there's a piece of news that is gigantic that is waiting in the wings of that one as well. We'll get into the ins and outs of everything. But first, if you could, hit that like button for us. Secondly, we're sharing on screen right now the data hub here at Stochastic. We have the Sims. We have the single lineup simulator here fired up. We have the props tool, which I was just utilizing on stream for the last hour and a half. That's a true story, but you got yourself every single book in your state that you have available to you. You can fire it up here. You have all the pick'em in all the land. You have so many opportunities to be able to win yourself some money, honey, over in those streets and fire up some good bets. And then we've got this amazing NBA rotations and NBA rates tabs here from Josh. I'm going to share those intermittently throughout this show. But if you're looking at jumping in on any package here at Stochastic, everything can be yours. NBA LBL, that is your promo code. NBA LBL. Get yourself 15% off any of the Sims, any of the props, any of the goodness here. But you said it. We got a lot of Miami, the M team here on today's slate, pulling tons and tons of ownership. And Tyler Hero questionable. I don't know if we want to dive right into that here from the get-go. We've also got Jakob Poeltl, questionable for Toronto. We've got 3 Q tags for bench guys on Milwaukee that could maybe shore up the minutes of guys like Ousmane Dieng, AJ Green. Ryan Rollins looks good, I think, regardless. Grayson Allen, questionable on the other side of that game. And then Walter Clayton. That one kind of matters a little bit, not as much as it would have yesterday in some kind of a capacity where, I don't know, they would have had 7 guys. Cam Spencer still wouldn't have got there for me yesterday, so we know that. But otherwise, any Q tag you've got your eye on, anything from late swap before we dive into this slate?
Nothing in particular. I think getting Kuminga out right before the show was a pretty big one to me because that was one of the blockers from me getting all the way on Jalen Johnson. I do think Kuminga being out there sort of caps both the minute ceiling for Jalen Johnson as well as the per minute production to some extent. But now that we know that, nothing really I'm too curious about. I guess Tyler Hero is one big one. If he's out, I think Miami's going to look even more prominent, and it does make it a little bit easier for some of the Fontecchio, Myron Gardner, Drew Smith tier of Heat players to make a closing lineup potentially if Hero's out. Not that Hero is guaranteed to close either. But yeah, he's like the last one I think that particularly matters for me.
No Puppet Lindquist yesterday. We couldn't get to the 400 like threshold. Can we do it today, friends? The world may never know, but obviously there are a lot of basketball games going on today, 11. So there's going to be a nice night slate for the people, 4 games there. But we got ourselves 7 games. Let's dive in, beginning with some of the spend-ups. Jalen Johnson, he is $10,500. He is now pulling a gobsmack of ownership up here. Walter Clayton just ruled out here as we begin our program because that's just fitting, of course. But Cade Cunningham, Victor Wembanyama, both of them in interesting spots. Cade taking on Brooklyn, which they suck, but they play very slow-paced. And Victor Wembanyama, he's very, very good, but taking on a Boston team that literally just got one of the best players in the NBA back and literally has been playing at an unbelievable level as well. San Antonio winners of 6 in a row here as well. But Jalen Johnson, the positionality, power forward, the opportunity relative to like a Giannis, just gigantic minutes difference, 6 minutes between the two of them at the moment. And of course, he's taking on this lowly Dallas squad that doesn't really, they're not adding a lot of resistance to anybody, but Atlanta, the amount of creation Jalen Johnson can have, the triple-double upside, 10-5 for him. How do you feel about his ownership at 38% rate from the get-go, getting that news that Kuminga is out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting more than that right now. I mean, the field's at 38% on DraftKings. I'm getting 50% flat in my lineups. I just think that's one of those plays to me that, earlier today I was looking at the numbers and just didn't feel like I was going to get there. Based on the projection, obviously the ceiling for Jalen Johnson, if Kuminga ran, it doesn't really matter. If Jalen Johnson plays 38, 39 minutes and goes, ham in those minutes, he's going to, break the slate no matter what. But getting Kuminga out, I think does increase that minutes floor and the ceiling a little bit better. And you're facing a Dallas team that I think would like to win a little bit, but they're not, dying to win. They're not a particularly great team at this point. So Johnson is just sort of hard to ignore. It's the same thing we always, I feel like, see on these slates, though, where if the field's so heavy on one pay up option, sometimes it is just better to roll the dice on the field and take Cade, Wemby. I mean, Giannis being minutes limited and facing Phoenix is a tough combo, but at 4%, like he could smash a slate at the same position as Jalen Johnson. Jalen Brown, the usage has not been great so far. Definitely down about 6 to 7 percentage points with Jason Tatum back in, but with no Peyton Pritchard, competitive playoff kind of environment against the Spurs, maybe they get there. So I love Jalen Johnson, but with the ownership being what it is, sometimes I wish I had the bankroll just to roll the dice on every other pay up option to see how it does, because I think there is some game theory to that.
Here are your most owned plays at power forward today: Myron Gardner, Simone Fontecchio, Trendon Watford, Danny Wolf over-owned, even though Danny Wolf playing backup 5 seems like some fun, Kyle Kuzma, Jason Tate. I mean, power forward is a wasteland. And I'm with you. I'm over the field on Jalen Johnson. And it's not even like one of those slates where like, everybody's going there. I want to be pivoting. I can play another piece. I can still get to Myron Gardner if need be and find some of this value. Simone Fontecchio, I don't know what that minute ceiling can be, but I'm going to be willing to find out against Washington at 3,300. There's definitely some interesting plays, but Jalen Johnson, relative to any other position on the board, I mean, he just looks exceptional relative.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things where, one of the great DFS lessons I feel like I've ever heard is some of the top players say is that, in general, anything that makes you uncomfortable, the field's going to be uncomfortable with as well. And I'll say for me, I feel uncomfortable not playing Jalen Johnson now, and the field's going to feel the same way. So if you get that right and he, doesn't pay off as well, or if you just have a ceiling for literally, again, the field, everybody who's not Jalen Johnson, but is a pay up option, you'll do well today. But Jalen Johnson clearly looks like the best play based on any sort of, median outcome.
We got Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, McCollum, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Okongwu, 5 starters here that are really standing out here. And then Jock Landale pulling 11 and change % ownership here against Dallas, potential blowout run, potential other things. Although Atlanta does play their starters gobsmack of minutes. I mean, we have Jalen Johnson for nearly 35 minutes, 32 north of for Dyson Daniels. McCollum has been around that 29-30. We saw against Milwaukee, 29 minutes. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 33. Okongwu playing the lion's share of center, but that's pretty evenly split. And Reese O'Shea and Kispert, I mean, they're kind of sent on the outside looking in. Not enough minutes really on this specific slate at their fantasy point per minute rates to really matter to me, but the rest of the Atlanta pieces surely got a lot better with Jonathan Kuminga, even though it'd only be like 22, 23 minutes of him coming in. His rates had been pretty good at Golden State. They've been electric, but against some absolute bottom feeders in his 3 Atlanta games, or the back-to-back Washington games specifically standing out in my mind. Who else from Atlanta are you getting to in lineups?
I mean, Dyson Daniels is definitely the big one for me. And, he's played 35, 36 the last couple games. So, if you're giving him 32 and a half minutes, shooting guard, small forward with that, implied total, he does seem like a guy that's going to pop up. And I think part of the reason he gets Dyson Daniels, and I don't know it's something that's really going to, reflect in a projection too much, because there's only so much you do on that front to move a number, but it does feel like, the not great guard play on Washington, Dyson Daniels being a takeover or takeaway machine potentially, can maybe take over offensively if he gets his defensive game going a little bit better as well. That's the kind of play that I think you want to take shots on. That said, if Dyson Daniels is at 36% and McCollum is at 13, Landale's at 11. I mean, Landale's not the same kind of play, but like you have lesser owned Hawks, I think, to go to that are not Dyson Daniels. I'm going to be there with the field pretty much on Dyson, but it's a lot. It's a lot of Dyson Daniels ownership at 6,500. But those two are the big ones for me. Alexander Walker, I got 19% of the fields at 9. Not a stand I'm like crazy about or anything, but I see why I would get him at 7,200 being kind of one of your other price point pivots to Dyson Daniels. But it seems to be mostly, Eric, it's just Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels. I'm curious if you have anything different.
No, I like both of them as well. I like a little bit of a Kongwu at his current ownership. I mean, we can pull up center here as well, which is kind of where I was going to jump to next with the Bam Adebayo with no Khalil Ware conversation. But I did wanted to just see if in like the first 10, 15 minutes, we got Tyler Hero ruled out, which is why I wanted to start on the Atlanta side with that news rolling in. We do have one other piece of news that I think could massively change my lineups. And we'll get to that here in a second. I mean, Milwaukee, there's a lot of ancillary pieces that aren't playing crazy minutes that maybe shore up something to take a shot on, but Giannis kind of mutes everybody there. Center specifically has Bam Adebayo. It's got Wemby, kind of a luxury item. Adam Bona, who feels okay, although doesn't inspire awe. It's just taking on a Memphis team without a center, basically, and there are definitely some opportunities that exist for him there. Marvin Bagley sitting around 7% back in that rotation up against Atlanta on the other side. Kind of an interesting piece to add, but Okongwu is all the way down here at 4 and change percent. And this can very easily get moving north of 31, 32 minutes. We can see him play 32 to 16 with Jock Landale and just split the minutes if this ends up being a pretty competitive spot. Jock Landale getting a couple more minutes than I might have thought there on our end, but again, these are just basically split 50-50 between the two with a little bit of cushion for blowout. If you give me 32, 33 minutes of Okongwu against Dallas in this front court, I mean, there are gobs of fantasy points to be had. Daniel Gafford, Marvin Bagley, I mean, the corpse of whomever else, Dwight Powell, probably not even in this rotation. I like the idea of a little bit of Okongwu purely because of that 5% number. And if you look at it, just sorting it by value, there's nothing even like remotely 5x-ish outside of Bona Landale on his own team. And if Jock's pulling double the ownership, I'll take the guy who's got more secure center minutes. And yeah, obviously he's more expensive too, but just feels like one of those guys that you can spike some 3-point upside and really, really find yourself a score.
Yeah, it's tough at center today because like I'm not the biggest Bam guy. Usually, obviously, you're taking away Khalil Ware, taking away Jovic, your two primary center pivots, even though Golden can play center, he's not been a guy meaningfully in the rotation. The issue is that Bam just looks so much better than everybody else. So like you mentioned, I only have 3 guys on the DraftKings slate projected as being a 5x or better value at center. And it's Bam, the top guy, 5.3x is, a little bit low for me, but a little bit higher for Stochastic. Landale at 5.1x, then Jalen Duren at 5x. And that's it. So for a game where a slate where we have 7 games, I'm surprised that center is this flat. And Bam, I think, should make lineups like 60% of the time. And then the rest of it, it's like, everybody else under 10%. So I don't really see great pivots here. Again, as not a Bam guy, I just don't know what the argument against him is today. Facing a Washington team that has a depleted, injured, minutes limited Alex Sarr, and also is just not particularly good. And you don't have the other centers to take production away from Bam. If you get Hero out, especially, like you can make the case to me to play 100% Bam, even though again, same thing the field's going to think.
Yeah, his usage goes up pretty substantially too. In fact, I pulled that up on the rates. I mean, it's not even the usage, it's just the points in general, the opportunity that he has to put the ball in the basket. Again, this is the beauty of the NBA rates tool that Josh, I just keep giving him compliments. I got to start being meaner. Fuck you, Josh. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I meant to say. If you take Tyler Hero off the floor and you take Norman Powell off the floor, and there's one other guy that I wanted to take off, but Wiggins, there you go. Where? 4 guys, 1, 2, 3, 4. We take them all off the floor. We definitely see some rate shifts for some guys. Jaquez, I will say, kind of the weird thing with him is that his rates go down, but his minutes are going to go up. And so you go on a per 36-minute basis, and you just sort it by usage here. It goes up 0.6, but 1.5 points that you get an improvement here on Bam Adebayo per 36. The rebounds go up by a rebound and a half. The assists come down ever so slightly. It's only a 304-minute sample size. And over the course of an NBA season, you click on this, he's at 1,795 minutes. So lots of ways from a rates perspective that our data is doing some good things with Bam already. And it could go even further in the event. Of course, it's my mom. You could get even crazier in the event that you get Tyler Hero ruled out for this one.
Yeah, I agree fully. I mean, getting Hero out, I think, is still a big thing. Not that we need really more usage to be opened up, but just consolidating more usage, more. I mean, Hero, I think, has a bigger assist upside than he's gotten to show this year based on what he's done historically. But because you have a lot of ISO scorers on the team, you don't really have to do too much there. But yeah, I mean, Hero is really, I think, to me, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, like our last big domino at this point. But yeah, if you get him out, I mean, to me, Bam at that point, I think would be an every lineup play. I just like the chasm of just what the optimal rate is at center for Bam is so high. And if you make that any better at this point, I don't know how you would avoid him.
We're going to just turn that phone off there. These are all good times. Oh, man. Eric's stepdad in chat. Don't you dare. Don't you? Oh, I was giving you a compliment, and then I just was like, I can't lean all the way into that. But anywho, wanted to share some of this. I thought that it would be like, oh, Hawkes is going to be this major beneficiary. It's mainly from a minutes perspective, more so than the rates as you go across the board, actually going down ever so slightly there in terms of assists, ever so slightly in terms of points. But you ramp up the minutes, life is probably a little bit better for you here. But Bam, rebounds high. Myron Gardner, rebounds high. I mean, the per 36 just kind of inflates anything you're looking at for Myron Gardner, but he is cheap. That's a nice thing that we can say about him this fine day. Back to the data hub we go here as we talk through more of Miami. They are the most important team that we've currently got. They've got a huge Q tag in Tyler Hero sitting there. What are you doing with Tyler Hero if he's in?
If he's in, I mean, I don't think he's an awful play, though he does project to me worse than most of the other Heat players. He's obviously got a pretty big ceiling. I think, for me, I'm coming in a little bit low right now. Fields at 26%. I'm getting 20. I just don't see the value metrics being the same for him at 8K because, you are losing usage, but you do have other guards, I think, that do similar enough things that Hero's not getting the big uptick. Like Bam Adebayo, there's another center who's really going to take the rebounds. And like you mentioned and just showed, the rebound rates, benefiting a lot of guys there because of the fact you're missing big men. For Hero, it's just the shots, go somewhere else. They don't all have to go to him. So I think Hero at 8K, an okay play. But I think he, to me, is a lower priority than Bam, than Hawkes, than even Fontecchio. Like, I think Fontecchio, I want to get above the field on Gardner. I would have as a higher priority play. I just don't see Hero at that ownership being worth really going on my way for.
I would be surprised if Hero played today. They got Johnson back up, although that could be a Khalil Ware thing as well. Some people astutely pointing that out over on the Live with Lindy that I did earlier today. Fired up a stream, talking through some pick'em, some other goodness over there on the Odd Chopper YouTube channel. But Simone Fontecchio, Drew Smith, these are your two pieces of value that look ridiculous to me in the event that we do get Tyler Hero out. I think it'll open up a lot of the top of that board, including Jalen Johnson, who's already in a gobsmack of my lineups, would end up in nearly everything. Him, Cade Cunningham, Victor Wembanyama, lots of guys that currently difficult to get to. Even a little Jason Tatum with, there's such a minutes cap to his right tail. Like, I really hate playing guys where I know they need to way outperform their fantasy point per minute rate. But Jason Tatum's the kind of guy who can do that at low ownership in 28 minutes, which is where it would appear his hard cap is going to exist at. But Drew Smith, Simone Fontecchio, Myron Gardner, those are three guys 3,800 and cheaper that could show up in a ton of lineups. I rank them right now, Fontecchio, Gardner, Smith. I think in a perfect world, they'd want Fontecchio to play a lot more than Myron Gardner. Don't know if that world exists today.
Yeah, it's sort of tough because like Spoelstra's really shown a weird, like, I view Gardner as playable in these specific situations. Sometimes he views him as not as playable, but a pace up spot, I feel like is sort of the Gardner thing because he'll get more rebounds. He'll maybe get a few more stocks. I think that's all stuff that benefits him well. But the tough part for Miami really comes down to me, like, you're going to have, and this is going to sound really elementary, but like, it really is an important part of things to think about for Miami in particular. You have five guys closing. Who are those five guys? Bam's going to be one of them. Hawkes probably going to be one of them. And then, it's a bit of a dice roll. Like, it could be Yakuchionis. He's been the one starting a lot lately. Drew Smith has started games lately. But then you have Pele Larson, Davion Mitchell. Those guys are very capable of closing games, but they're not always. Gardner, if he plays well, I think he can play himself into closing. But frankly, there's been nothing we've seen, recently that indicates that he can. So like, that's the biggest part. I know it's something that your old friend Ship My Money's pointed out many times. Josh has pointed out many times. Like, you want guys who are going to start ideally and close, at least one of them. For the Heat, you might get, a guy like Gardner might start. But based on what we've seen lately, there's no guarantee he closes. So I think getting the closers right is as important as anything.
Yeah, Yakuchionis is definitely a dude that I think is very live to go way up the board. You brought up that he had a couple of starts. I think there's a chance he could start alongside Davion Mitchell, which is very, very unlikely for what it's worth. I think it's more likely that we get, they have proven they want Hawkes out coming off the bench. Like, that just seems to be what happens no matter what. And no matter what, I'm going to play Jaime Jaquez. I mean, he's under-owned as it is, 35%, running the Sims here on the side. And obviously, we're all waiting for that hero news. But let's bring up the early game then, shall we? Because I do think that just being able to discuss the one game going on a little bit earlier with two teams on a back-to-back that were huge parts of yesterday's slate, there's not a lot to get to here with Ty Jerome, Cedric Coward back in to the mix here for this one. Taylor Hendricks also available on that side. But you go to the Philly side of things. Well, if I could, figure out exactly what I'm doing here in the moment, that would be lovely. But on the Philly side of things, we got Quentin Grimes, Trendon Watford pulling quite a bit of ownership. One, how much do you hate Quentin Grimes? And two, what the hell do we do with him today?
Yeah, Grimes yesterday, I mean, he still played 36 minutes, but didn't close that game out. And, really is one of those spots where felt like he could take more usage away, but he's watching Watford do stuff. I mean, Oubre was severely minutes limited because of foul trouble in that game. And then also the game turning into a blowout late. But, Payne was getting shots up as well, really trying to get himself going at a certain point. If you have Edgecombe in as well, like I question the ceiling for Grimes a little bit. But if the field's going to be at 25%, he still grades out as a decent value for me. And I think the price tag, 6,900, does work well with a lot of lineups. Some could say it's even a nice price tag. But getting 30% at Grimes, he's my biggest stand on the Sixers. I'm low on Watford, only getting 5% there. Fields at 20 and change. Bona, I'm also getting 5% of. Oubre, I'll go back to get 10% of it, looks like. But I think if Edgecombe's out, I mean, right now I'm getting 9% Edgecombe, Fields at 5. I really would be surprised if he played. Just again, I mentioned yesterday the shoot-around video that was out there of him. Like, he really wasn't moving around that well after the big fall he had that hurt his back. He's a Q tag. I kind of think he doesn't play again. We'll see. We should know by the time. We will know, hopefully, by the time the slate locks here.
He's in.
Is he in officially? Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I really think, though, being limited a little bit, like compared to playing 40 minutes a game, would not be a shocker. But yeah, for Edgecombe at this point, I think it's a tough price tag at 8K. He makes everybody else look worse. But certainly Philly, not a bad total here, playing a team that actively doesn't want to win, and Philly is still hanging into the play-in kind of spots. I think it's okay playing Sixers, but there's really not value here unless you want to, even chasing campaign, it's not really value.
I will say this. The campaign thing freaks me out today. Like, it actually freaks me out. If we get a starting lineup where Grimes isn't in it and we get campaign starting, and this is just kind of the way that they want to treat him, we've got massive positive leverage coming in on campaign. But don't forget, if Tyler Hero gets ruled out, everything changes, because this ownership on Trendon Watford just has to go away. Like, it just kind of has to. I really have no desire to take a shot on Andre Drummond. It seems like even in some of these spots where you think he could maybe get utilized, you got like Mobley on the other side yesterday, Thomas Bryant. Andre Drummond's just out there hacking everybody, doing nothing offensively. His usage has been a joke. And only 1.15 DraftKings points per minute. I know that doesn't seem like anything, but it's not good for Andre Drummond. He's generally been much, much higher than that. So this whole team kind of freaks me out, because I feel like something can definitely break our way. I'm with you where I think Grimes is probably my favorite, and it makes me feel really disgusting. And knowing he played 36 minutes yesterday, his last rotation, he put up 0 fantasy points in like 3 minutes in that fourth quarter. It was super tilting. I got hooked on 17.5 points, and he closed at 19.5. Very, very hurtful stuff. But I look at Oubre as maybe the second guy for me, because on this specific slate where we've got a lot of cheapies, I don't like Watford at his current ownership. I hope we get to lock and these guys get locked in, and then Hero gets ruled out. That would be the perfect run out.
Yeah, I think so. And, the chat really dialing in on like the no minutes limit thing. There's a difference between saying there's no minutes limit, which we've seen Jason Tatum didn't have one either. He didn't play over 30, and there being one for a guy who normally plays 40 minutes. So yeah, I think it's a tough spot for any of these guys. Like Edgecombe's price tag, really expensive. Grimes, you are taking a leap of faith there. And I didn't love seeing him defer to guys who are not, even of that Edgecombe tier. Like Edgecombe will take a lot of possessions away. So I think Philly is a tough team to get to. I'm cool with Grimes, but definitely, you're paying for the full experience at this point.
For the real ones who know Rich Green, he had been on streams once upon a time too. Rich, one of the sharpest that exists in the DFS space, doing projections for us today. Cannot love that man anymore. Obviously, sorry that I gave you the Cam Spencer heads up. It caused me a lot of pain, so don't worry. But I look at the board same way he does, where I do think you're very unlikely to see Tyler Hero play. So I'm just hoping that news stays for as long as possible. Gives us more of an edge here. Hopefully the Watford piece doesn't come back to burn me or you, And I think we're just going to end up lower on that and be jamming Miami, guys. Let's open the rest of the board up here. But first, friends, it is a great opportunity to check out the Stokastic Hall of Fame. You can sign up at stokastic.com/HOF. You can complete the sign up form, choose your avatar. I bet you've seen a lot of those over on X recently. Yeah. There's a lot of this shit going on right now, and it is a beautiful time to be there with us here at Stokastic. And I said us and we, those are both plural and now possessive and, well, whatever. The whole point is that you upload your avatar to DraftKings and FanDuel, you place in the top 3 of any GPP with 5,000 plus entries, and you have 2 or fewer ties in the process, and you post that winning screenshot, including Stokastic HOF at the end of your post. You'll get yourself a month of the Sims for any sport, signing up with one of them. So take advantage of that. You can take advantage of our link join if you want to get a month that way as well. So many opportunities for you at Stokastic to check out the best data and tools getting updated by guys like Rich Green on the daily. Really good times. Oops, there we are. Let's get ourselves back into this slate, shall we? But hit that like button while you're at it, because my guy over there, I know that he's getting ready for a big parenting week, but he is doing that work for you. Don't give up. You can do it, Chris Spags. It's going to be all right. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Well, I think the nicotine is the issue right now, but yeah, sure.
Maybe you need some. It's delicious. It's nutritious. My doctor said I needed less of it, but here we are. Quentin Grimes. Looking at it relative to some of these other mid-range pieces, we talked about Jaquez a little bit. We talked about Bam Adebayo a little bit. If they're in a Miami uniform, I'm probably going to be mixing them into lineups, but that's not all that we need to be playing here on this slate. There are further down the line a couple of options in the mid-range that I do want to start highlighting, and teams in the mid-range I want to start highlighting, starting with the Toronto Raptors. If you get Jakob Poeltl ruled out, who's your major beneficiaries here on the Toronto side?
I mean, they'll all get a little bit of a rate uptick, and Mamu, I would think, would start, but at 4,800, I don't know that we need him. It's a tough spot against Houston. Not a great total at 108 implied points. So when you went to Toronto, I could see the thought of there being something opening up here. And I think it's contrarian, but I don't think it's going to be like a thing the field's on a bunch, would be my guess.
I love Sandro. This team is so tall. Let's list off the starting 5 for the Houston Rockets just for a little bit of context, because we've seen Scotty Barnes, who really wants to get ramped up in some of these spots where they can play him at the 5 and do whatever they want that direction. Is that really an option for them today when you've got starting at 0.67 Amin Thompson, over at the 4 Jabari Smith 6'11, Kevin Durant playing the technical 2 6'11, Tari Eason 6'8, Şengün 6'11, 3 6'11 guys, a 6'8 guy, and a 6'7 guy. How does Sandro not start? How does Sandro not end up being the major beneficiary for Toronto today?
I mean, I don't think he'll start, but I don't know that he's going to be like a permanent monster because he's facing Houston. And frankly, too, I think the reason you mentioned that they are at such a size disadvantage, you go 5 out and not do a big, real way either, too. I don't know. I just don't see Sandro. It could be a thing where, Rich gives him a bunch of minutes and he looks really good. And, I think he would be around like a 25, 28, somewhere in that range, fantasy point projection guy. But I think the matchup here, I mean, you saw it. This is not a good example because these guys are not even remotely the same, but like Julian Reese going against Houston was like a thing, right? Where like going against Şengün, getting his ass kicked, getting kept off the boards. Mamu's a lot better player than Julian Reese, but I do think there is sort of that issue when you go against Houston is that they're a team that's pretty competent at keeping guys, from getting peripherals as easily as they would normally. I don't know. I just don't think we need Mamu on the slate, but at 4,800, I suppose he'd come up. I just don't think he'd be more than a 20% play.
All right. Just want to run it just for the people so that they can see it in the back here, because this is opportunities that we have now that we haven't had before to be able to run some rates, show them to you directly on screen. So who are your major beneficiaries? But Scotty Barnes is the first guy that I wanted to bring up that is not named Sandro Mamukashvili. But Sandro, obviously, it's just a minutes increase for him. Everything stays pretty flat for him across the board. But Scotty Barnes, I think, becomes one of the more appealing plays on the entire slate as a spend up to kind of sneak into your lineups in the event that happens. Jamal Shed assists, Emmanuel Quickly assists. There's a number of other guys that definitely benefit, but it's more of a rebound thing for Scotty Barnes, and it's more of a minutes thing for Sandro. Those are definitely my 2 main guys to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, Barnes always has the biggest ceiling on the team, so I think that's something you could always talk me into a little bit. It's just like the total on this slate, we have enough games to go to. It's not occurring naturally for me. But I think sometimes that is the DFS value. Just if this game puts up 240 instead of 220, obviously that's asking a lot, but nobody's going to be on it because the total is so low currently.
Ousmane Dieng, yay, nay, Joaquin Phoenix, or is it just going to be pending what happens with these million Q tags? Jericho Sims, Bobby Portis, a lot of news that can break his direction and Kuzma's direction, as disgusting as that sounds.
Yeah, Milwaukee not seeing as much today either with the total and matchup. 109 implied points, not the best. Ryan Rollins, you guys know, would happy to get him most slates, but this spot against Milwaukee, or going against Phoenix rather, from Milwaukee, kind of like the Orlando spot where you are getting low pace, getting at least league average, a little bit better than that defense. So I don't really see it with Giannis being minutes limited. Rollins still having to cope with whatever, Giannis does out there. He can create some separation for Rollins to get going, but 8,300, he's not coming up in my projection. I don't know whose projections he would. So Taurean Prince being back into, doesn't matter that much for production, but it is some minutes that are going to flow his way coming off that long-term neck injury. So yeah, the Bucks, to me, another team not crazy about. Ousmane Dieng is valued 4,400. Hit on him a couple days ago, and that was cool. Today, if I got him at 10%, I think that's enough.
What are you guys talking about? I was talking about if he ends up out. Jakob Poeltl, I said he's questionable. And we've now hit on every Q tag. We hit Milwaukee. We hit Tyler Hero. We hit Jakob Poeltl. Those are all guys who are questionable. And over the course of the hour that you have with Josh Engleman after this, my godfather, apparently, or whatever the hell he's calling himself, stepdad. I don't want him to be my stepfather. I really, really don't want that. Although I think we would probably just sit on the couch and watch basketball. So maybe it's not the worst thing. Sounds like my actual father and I. But anyway, he'll be able to cover all those two tags. Yeah, we're gonna stop talking. Javier Rodriguez, 5116. He gave us an entire lineup here. Why don't we run that for him here in the single lineup sim? Because this is a thing that we can do. Actually, I'm going to take it off screen. $4.99. Thank you for your super chat. I'm going to throw it in here looking down at the ground because that would make it a lot easier for us. Reed Shepherd is definitely not that interesting to me today. I know he's had a couple of ballistic basketball games. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to increase his ownership there, but I don't think Ime Udoka in a perfect world wants to be playing him as much as he has been. Plus, he played like 36 minutes in blowout run against San Antonio. If Tari Eason was knocking down shots, I'm pretty positive that he would find a way to be getting to Tari Eason more than the Reed Shepherd he's had to roll out there today.
It's tough because I thought that, we were sort of getting Reed Shepherd playing up a little bit more because Jabari Smith was banged up the one game, but Reed Shepherd's hanging in there. I mean, 35 minutes last game, 36 before that, 37, 42, 36. It seems like around, I think that's that Sacramento game when he played 36. Like he had one good game, and I think that somehow maybe talked Udoka into his existence being a little more valuable, it seems. I don't know. I don't think he's a great play today. I only have him for, 29 and change minutes. So I don't see him being a guy that I'd want to take a big stand on here. But the lineup, he's definitely the weakest part. Like I think the other guys there are all legit plays in the slate. Reed Shepherd, it feels like you're playing, a guy who mattered on a slate 2 weeks ago, and he's now not priced for that situation.
Yeah. Not playing Bam too. Also, that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him, kind of a thing. Like I really find it hard for me to come into this slate in single entry and probably not be playing Bam. Center is just such a desolate wasteland of broken dreams and sadness.
Why do people say things like, why? Okay, so this guy, why the hell did Oubre barely play last night? It wasn't foul trouble. It literally was foul trouble. He had 3 fouls in the first half. Like
first 8 minutes quarter. First quarter. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he had 2 fouls in the first quarter, left early, then picked up the third foul like immediately in the second quarter, left early. But like, don't say stuff and just be wrong. That's never a good thing. At least look it up.
Price, I feel the exact opposite you do. Oh, Tyrese Maxey missed at least 3 weeks with a tendon injury. I also saw that Philly lineup. Quentin Grimes is going to be starting, not Campaign. So we got Edgecombe, Grimes, Oubre, Barlow, Bona. So Campaign back to the bench. That is where he belongs. That should change some things here. But yeah, for that lineup specifically, some negative EV. I mean, Reed Shepherd was definitely kind of a red herring for me there. I get it. He's had some amazing box scores, some crazy minutes. Pump the brakes. Also, it's the front end of the back-to-back for Houston, so Dorian Finney-Smith can eat up some minutes. There's some other things that are just a little bit annoying that I don't think necessarily have to go that direction. But also, Hero, I don't want him ruled out at all. not until after lock. That would be ideal for me.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to look at it. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think the chat was maybe thinking Grimes wasn't going to start, but it seems like that's going to be the case. I mean, paying off the bench, definitely not an option if people are going to chase that at all.
No, I don't think so. And I don't think you should, especially on a back-to-back. Just feels like you're drawn to a pretty tight window. I mean, he's 5K. He was assumed starting, and so we had him as starter. You can see that right there. I think as such, I mean, he was kind of starting everywhere that you kind of take a look around the industry. So not all that surprising to me that we don't have him in there. I said Grimes. I had a feeling that could be a route that they went, but it's the first game. So we were always going to know. We were always going to be able to react to it. I wasn't too panicked.
Yeah, I think it's a fair way to look at it.
Alrighty. I guess there's one Q tag that I forgot. And I was doing such a good job of staying true to, hey, let's talk about all the injury information. Anything stand out to you on the Phoenix side against Milwaukee in the event that Grayson Allen gets ruled out?
I mean, I think you're going to look more at the Gillespie tier of guys. Booker was a guy coming up for me a little bit more earlier today. At this point, maybe a single-digit play still. But I think Jalen Green's the one player on Phoenix. I think that there's a spot for him to be better at some point soon. You're talking about 47% true shooting for Jalen Green to start the year here. And, granted, he was banged up to start the year, getting a ton of usage, though, at 33% usage in every situation this year, including with Dillon Brooks being on the court. Now Dillon Brooks is off. So I think for the spot with Jalen Green, he's a guy that I would think I don't want to get to in terms of making a big stand. I think being with the Field's ownership, especially if you do get anybody else out for the Suns, I think that he's a guy that's just dying to shoot slightly better in a situation versus a team, like Milwaukee. But the rest of the guys here, I mean, Grayson Allen almost at 8K is pretty tough. Booker at almost 9K, also pretty tough for him. And he just doesn't seem to gain usage in any configuration of the Suns with guys out. But I think there's something here for sure if you get, a Grayson Allen type out. I just don't know. I just don't know if it's anything besides me expecting Jalen Green to not be this far below league average.
Don't you just love Devin Booker? I mean, I would love Devin Booker today against Milwaukee. I mean, the only thing missing is Kevin Porter Jr. out there playing defense. That would be especially good. But Devin Booker has been getting ramped up. 31, 32, 35 minutes the last two. We saw a double-double, 10 assists that came along for the party there. That's just a lot of usage and opportunity with shooting guard eligibility. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of these Miami guys that can litter around your lineups, but most of them that are the cheapies are small forward, power forward. And so, he fits in nicely with an $8,700 price tag at shooting guard. I don't know. I feel like I'm really high on Devin Booker in the event that you don't have Allen.
I mean, look, I think it's a good matchup for him to get going. The Bucks definitely not a team that we're super worried about for high usage guards. I just don't know that we've seen Booker be anything. I mean, frankly, like he's been historically this year. I mean, he's under league average true shooting, averaging 1.17 fantasy points per minute. I just wish I saw some signs of life in the smaller groups. I would have thought taking Brooks off, he'd be gunning, pretty reliably. He's not getting more assists either. The ceiling's always there. So it's single digit ownership on this slate. I get it.
Cash game Booker. Do not play cash game Booker. That is not what I said. Do not extrapolate. Do not throw that out there for the people. Good Lord Almighty. But now we have hit on every single Q tag. Now is the portion of the program where we get to give you our favorite plays at spots. We get to try to give you our favorite tournament options. I don't know. Sometimes we have a name for that. Sometimes it's the nuke of the night. Didn't need a charge. Yeah. 9, 8, 7, 2, 1. So many options, so little time for the people. 21 minutes until lineups lock. Chris Spags, they need to know, who are you down in an earlier round sugar you're going down swinging with on this Tuesday night?
I mean, nuke of the night. Jalen Wells did well last night, so I was happy with that outcome. So as a reminder, in case it goes poorly today, or
Bryce sensible, but no big deal. It's okay. Keep going. You're doing great.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, was Bryce sensible good? I don't know. I feel like I only saw Jalen Wells be good.
Fine. He was fine. It was just whatever. I'm just being a dick. Don't mind me.
I think for today's slate, just let me go through my lineups real fast because the chat was saying Pirtle's out, and I think that's not accurate yet. It was freaking me out.
He's out. He's out.
Oh, is he officially out? Okay, cool. So
yeah, I saw that came through on Toronto. Yeah. Yep.
All right. So without that being accounted for yet, and I guess that's going to take your Mamu nuke of the night.
It was literally going to be my nuke of the night. I'm so unbelievably tilted.
I'll go with, I think this player is similar in as much as he's popping up for me. The ownership's a little bit lower for a team that's mega chalk. So a kind of similar thesis as Jalen Wells, mostly just the thing where he does pop up in my data now, and some small sample size stuff for this guy as well on Miami. Simone Fontecchio has shot like 64% true shooting in small groups with the various high usage guys unavailable. So he's not going to shoot that well, but putting up 1.25 fantasy points a minute, I think even if he does miss a few shots, he can be a better producer overall here. And I think at 22% ownership, I'll get him 2x the field. So Simone Fontecchio, my fellow Paisan nuke of the night.
When did Rich update this? Rich, you have to let me know this. I was about to shift over to Javon Small. There's no Scottie Pippen Jr. today. We're looking at this early game, and we talked about the Philly side. Didn't go into depth on the Memphis side. You could get Javon Small, who didn't play like crazy amount, 32 minutes yesterday. I think that's just fine. He could look ridiculous right now. I just reran my Sims, and this definitely changed pretty dramatically. You know what? I'm not going to make him nuke of the night, though, because I think there's still one piece that we got waiting in the wings. I'm not going to make it Devin Booker. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make it Ryan Rollins. We got Ryan Rollins nuke of the night. Milwaukee, your boy, is completely unowned. Absolutely nobody. You know, I'm not going to do that either because I do need Bobby Portis out. But this just screwed me up. Sandro Mamukashvili, still nuke of the night. Screw it. Sandro done.
Oh, wow. He's going to be mega chalk now with Hurdle out. You're taking the mega chalk? What is this shit?
Okay, you do not have a leg to stand on after yesterday.
After Jalen Wells,
take a 50% own nuke of the night. What are we doing? You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You get triple stamp a double stamp.
Yeah, no, that's great. Mamukashvili, 50% on Mamukashvili, nuke of the night.
In control. Jack Black said no drums. The Muppets movie. It's so good. Am I a man or a Muppet?
You're definitely a Muppet.
Well, we're not to 400 likes yet, so no, I'm not. Hit that like button for, if not me, for Muppet Me, which is also known. Whatever. Everybody's just giving me shit now, which is so funny. I can't believe how much Javon Small I just got at this last run. This is just actually insane. I think it actually makes sense, though. I think it makes sense. The Memphis side, just screw Cam Spencer in every single way, shape, or form. Like, just so tilting. But anyway, we're going to get that updated on the Toronto side. I don't think they have a choice but to start Mamu against Houston. I just don't. I really, really don't.
I agree they're going to start him. I would be surprised if they didn't. I think going in-game, going a little smaller, I think it's definitely a possibility. But, just depends what his ownership is. If he's coming in at 20, I think, cool. Like, play him half your lineups. Don't feel bad about it. If he's coming in half your lineups, I think that's when we start to go, all right, well, is there a risk of him sitting a little bit here?
We're going to find out from Rich exactly what's going down in this spot because RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl, gone. Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly, Brandon Ingram. Nobody was pulling ownership. It's a very tough Houston spot, no question about it. But 4,800 center has just been so brutal looking at it here. Bam Adebayo is still going to eat up a majority of that position, no question about it. And we're still waiting on Tyler Hero. It's all coming together perfectly, Christopher Spags. It's all according to plan.
Yeah, I think the ownership is running right now, so we'll have that in a moment. But there was a projection update if you did want to look. Rich is saying
I do want to see it. I want to see it so bad. Yeah, fuck. He was the nuke of the night. He was always the nuke of the night. I literally brought up Toronto in the program and said that I would play internal amounts. We're so screwed. We're so screwed.
Everybody gets to take part of this nuke. It's like, it's so fun for the whole family. We all get to play the nuke of the night.
He was like 0.1% owned. And then the one piece of news, it was just so, Tyler Hero listed out. Let it begin. Elmo fire emoji. Let's go. All right. Well, I guess I'll wait on another projections update from Rich. Here we go.
Hey, Rich, stop being lazy, Rich. Can you
Rich,
I don't even know.
Get on your shit, dude. What are you doing? You're not in Chicago. Like, let's chill. Let's chill. Anyway, Jaime Jaquez is just going to look nuclear. Bam Adebayo is going to look nuclear. There we are. Myron Gardner, Simone Fontecchio, Drew Smith. Is that Kaspers? Can't ever say his name correctly. Jakachionis. There we go. Does he end up being our starter?
I think he's got a pretty good shot to be the closer. I don't know if he's going to start, but he's got a chance. I don't think it's likely with Mitchell being available.
I don't think so either. I think Davion Mitchell, man, they just really don't want to start Jaquez ever. Like Simone Fontecchio?
He could. I don't know if it's likely, but he could.
Such an interesting one. Because it would make sense if you were going to just start Jaquez here and have him out on the floor. But they want him playing backup point and then eating a majority of those minutes. And it's just assist rate through the moon, knocks in a moon, Mummy 2 style. Real ones know that one. But Jaime Jaquez, man, small forward, just going to look nuclear. This whole thing is just going to be ridiculous. Just jam Miami. Does this make you less likely to play anything that we talked about on the Philly side?
I mean, I think Grimes might still come up a little bit, and tournament flyers on Oubre, and I would say Edgecombe were going to come up a little bit for me, but I think now, Miami has to be more of a priority. Losing another high usage scorer and a team that's already down a bunch, and you're still facing Washington. Like, it's the perfect storm to get these guys as much as you want. And I would say too, I think I'm pulling in the data now. I think that Bam to me is now even more unavoidable. Like, he's a 5.6x value, and I'm 3 points lower than stochastic in projection. So I don't know. You got to play a shitload of Miami today.
Just playing gobsmack tons. Let's see if this ownership came along for the ride here.
Why gobsmacks? That's your 5th gobsmack today. I've been keeping count, and I didn't want to say anything mean. But why you're saying gobs, not gobsmack. You're gobsmacked when it's a surprise.
Oh.
You're playing gobs of guys. You're gobbing left and right. You're not getting gobsmacks.
I'm not a smart man, Jenny, but I know what gobsmack is. Actually, I don't. I literally don't. I always thought, yeah, just a ton. Lots. A copious amount of ownership. A copious amount.
Yeah, that's good. These are great words.
Thank you.
Great words. You're getting
I just
had
ownership. I had a nearsighted. I had a. My mama said. My mama said, "Oh my God, look at this Casper's ownership." I mean, yeah, he's going to be your presumed starter, and here we are. It's just the 2 best plays of the slate were him and Mamu, and now they're all like 60% owned. I hate it here. I hate it. Why couldn't this just happen after lock?
Yeah, well, instead we just have to really hustle here while being on stream, and that's cool too. But
all right,
maybe you could get a call from your Mamu today instead of your mom.
You're a bitch. Just join Cash Game Booker, you say? Bet. No, Bilbo Swaggins. No. Yobi Trice, you're not going to want me to run that. And Kevin Porter Jr. is out, so we don't definitely want to do that.
Could be Michael.
Oh, Michael Porter Jr. There you are. I'm assuming that's going to change for you a lot, considering we now have like 250+% owned guys who just got added to the slate. So they're not going to sim well. This is not going to sim well at all. But if you have something else you want, you don't even have to super chat us. I will answer any question you have. I just don't think we can run that right now. Best plays by position on FanDuel. We'll get through that one here in a second. And Timu, Ryan Rollins, Nuke, Davion Mitchell. So, yeah, Mamu, just ridiculous. Ryan Rollins, completely unowned. You've got Giannis out there, but there's 3 pieces that could get removed by the wayside and actually make him like an upside option, I suppose. Davion Mitchell, I mean, everybody in a Miami uniform is playable. Like every single person in a Miami uniform.
Yeah, I agree. They're not, shorthanded or anything, but I like they definitely all have merits and, relative. Not like, your bottom of the bench guys, I guess, but everybody else.
You're a bottom of the bench guy, aren't you?
You're just a bottom.
How did you have a better comeback for that? I hate you. I love you, but I hate you. I hate you. You want to talk FanDuel point guard? First off, let's group it by ownership because things have changed. Kasper Jackie, I mean, this guy is just going to be in everything at the point guard position now. He looks ridiculous. 3,900 on FanDuel, all of that in a bag of potato chips. You do have a 7,300 edge come on both sides of that one, but anything else add it point guard.
Point guard, I do think Edgecombe stands out for me, but yeah, I think that, Edgecombe would be my guy. Yakutionis at 3,900, I think does stand out pretty meaningfully as well, but he's so owned.
Yeah, to shooting guard, Quentin Grimes, him and shooting guard, small forward, just fine. Early pieces. I mean, now we kind of get to play this slate straight up. There's no real crazy late swap. The two biggest edges were the Tyler Hero one for Kasparis and then Mamu for the rule out of Jakob Poeltl, and we got both.
Yeah. Gardner, I think it's small forward. I agree. Seems like, still has the same closing issue, I think, but at 3,600 on FanDuel would definitely stand out. And then Pelle Larsson at shooting guard too, I think also pretty good play. And
Drew Smith at shooting guard, 3,900 for him on FanDuel. Crazy leverage coming his direction. Pelle Larsson, I'll throw that out here with Jaime Jaquez, who is nuclear at small forward.
Yeah, small forward. I would still go Gardner for myself at small forward, but I think that's Grimes also behind him.
All right. And next up, we got ourselves power forward Bam Adebayo. Hi, how are you this fine day? 70% optimal. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Bam Adebayo, power forward, obviously center. You could play him there too. If you want to go where there's some blood in the streets, Kelly Oubre, I don't think a bad play. And Fontecchio is a value too. I'll just highlight him, power forward.
Like, no centers pulling any kind of ownership here whatsoever. Where is Mamu at here? 5,300 for him. That is a 2.9% owned Mamu over on FanDuel. Ooh, I'd be rolling out some, but more than likely, there's a lot of these power forward / center guys to be taking some shots on. You got a Kongwu, you got Wemby, you've got a number of them there. First true center, Neemias Queta, playing without, Luka Garza is going to still get some minutes here and there, but playing without Vooch, pretty secure up against San Antonio and Neemias Queta.
Yeah, I think Bam center, obviously the choice there if you're going to just, put him there. Jalen Duren to be my number 2. Jabari Smith on FanDuel in mind at number 3.
All right. I am going to kick off a sim of my own here over in the corner so I can be all updated, ready to rock. And I just saw this come in. It was our good friend Ace of Spades. DK Tiers best options. You're going to make me work for it here today because I have to pull that up as we are flying, giving you the best options. Oh, here we go. I was doing my own lineups and stuff. Oh, I just pulled up Wednesday's tiers option. That is not going to be helpful to you, I don't think, if I had to guess.
It could be.
All right. 6 minutes left. Why don't we do tiers? Here we are. At tier 1, Jalen Johnson, nuclear. Although if you were trying to get a little bit different there, don't hate the idea of a Wemby shot. Tier 2, we got ourselves Jaylen Brown, Şengün, Durant, Barnes, Booker. I really like Barnes, and Booker could look ridiculous if you end up getting one Grayson Allen out of there. Tier 3, Bam Adebayo by a lot. Tier 4, we're looking at going to be Derek White for me. Tier 5, we've got Sarr, Castle, Fox, Barrett, Oubre, Shepard, Grimes, Green. Going to be Grimes, just disturbing that Alex Sarr is at the top of that list because he's definitely the worst option by a mile. Might be a little bit of an edge. In tier 6, we got Daniels, McCollum, Jabari Smith, Jaquez. We're just going to stop there. Jaime Jaquez looking the best in tier 6. Dyson Daniels not terribly far behind, actually pretty comparable now that I mention it. All righty. Hopefully that helped you in the tiers categories. We continue on our merry way. Spags, did you get a Sims kicked off?
Yeah, I got my stuff in. I don't know if there's any super chats I could read to stall for you, but
we got one more up here. And again, I'm doing good. You recommend both Miami guards or 1 and 1 Sasser. So we don't have the Detroit starting lineup. That's going to be something that Josh Engleman will help you with. We're still waiting on every piece of injury news in that Phoenix-Milwaukee game. We know that Dillon Brooks and Mark Williams are already out on the Phoenix side. Jericho Sims and Bobby Portis still sitting with those Q tags that could change a little bit of something, maybe secure it up for Ousmane Dieng, probably get Pete Nance back into that rotation, I suppose, but not going to impact anything in my DFS lineups there. Anything that you wanted to point out as far as Miami guards or Sasser specifically in your lineups?
I mean, Sasser, I think with the Miami stuff opening up more with no hero, I'm getting 15% Sasser, actually, more than I would have thought, but way more Yakushionis, way more Hawkes, way more Drew Smith. These guys I'm capping basically at 50% for a lot of them, a little bit lower for guys like Pele Larson because they're just not owned very much. But I just don't see Sasser being as much of a play today. That said, his usage was so low last game. If he does start again, he almost has to shoot more. He had like 9% usage. They clearly like him off ball, so there's something there. But I think for Sasser, I'm not seeing him as a priority play today.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I'm going to refresh this one more time. I think we got most everything in here. 5 minutes left in the program. If you could hit that like button for myself, for my friend Chris Spags, everything that we've done here over the course of this 55-minute show. It's been entertaining, it's been informative, and it's only going to get better with Josh Engleman coming up here after this. So don't go anywhere. Keep kicking it with him here. Get some of the best bets, which, speaking of, the props tool up in the corner, get it with promo code NBALBL. Check it out, NBALBL. You can check out all of the best books for all of the best plays. Don't forget, there are some of these teammate injured Q tags. If you want to remove them, we've got some cool updates that are going to come in for this injury report that are going to make your life so much easier. But you can look at the lay of the land and make sure that if there is a TM next to their name, that you can wait or, fire it up knowing that there is a high impact injury that is waiting in the wings. You can group it by pick'em. You can group it by state. You can group it by whatever you want, whatever you like, and origination. That's going to be all of the great stuff over here at Stochastic. To the middle, Odd Shopper at the bottom there, Stochastic market-based projections. You can find 50-50. I do recommend trying to go a little bit heavier into the market as you get closer to lock. That's something that Lofty tweeted out about. So if you guys want to check out a tweet about that, talking through his process of using this tool, check that out over on X. You know where to find him. It's Lofty, Loughy. All righty, cool. Anything that's standing out in your lineups as we get closer to lock?
I'm just getting like 5 Heat players in almost every single one, which feels a bit much, but it's, I think, the same thing as we had with Memphis. You're still trying to get to these guys a good amount and hard for me to critique it. But yeah, I not that I'm surprised, but I guess a little more Spurs guards coming up for me because their price tags work particularly well with value Heat players plus some of the other good chalk like Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels. So I'm getting Castle and Fox coming in more than I would have thought. I don't mind either guy, but it's not a thing I was expecting.
Yeah, I really didn't expect a lot of that either, but I guess when you got all this cheap small forward, power forward value that we've just circled the wagons on throughout the course of this show, totally makes sense. You just have this money left over at that spot. I will say this. I mean, I know it's an 82 tag, and I know we have Giannis back and everything else here too. I'm just kind of looking at the Rollins thing. If we get Bobby Portis out in that second unit, you get some of these lower usage, lower fantasy point per minute guys that are going to have to eat up some kind of minutes. There might be something to mine out of there. I still think Giannis is on the outside looking in, considering the minutes are just not going to be there. It's that right tail thing that just bothers us. Ousmane Dieng could look a little bit better. AJ Green, I don't think it changes a ton in that regard. Trying to figure out something for Phoenix, Milwaukee as well. And obviously Devin Booker in the event that you get Grayson Allen out, something that I will be running back to. But we got 2 minutes left. Any final words as we kind of get closer to lock?
No, I mean, I certainly hope the Heat play well. I think we're all going to be on that same boat. But besides that, I don't know. I feel like, did you get all your stuff in or are you still
I just got it in this second. Okay. I know I was talking a little out of my ass, but got it in.
No, that's all good. Yeah, I mean, on my end, it's a lot of Heat players. I think nothing surprising. Frankly, a guy like Yakushionis, I did not expect to have in 60% of my lineups right now, but the field's at 66, it looks like. So hopefully that number is true. But I think for Yakushionis, he's coming up a lot more. Drew Smith closed the last game for them, at least the part that they're actually competitive for. He's viable. It really just feels like I'm playing every lineup in the hopes that I get the right combo of Heat players, right? And those aren't aren't my favorite slates. I like it when it's like an obvious like top 3 and you like, these are the ones. I feel like for the Heat, it's just roll the dice and hope you get the right 5-4 guys, whatever. Correct?
Here's a weird one for me. Jaylen Brown, I have in 24% of lineups, which I did not see coming. I think this just kind of speaks to the position, and I'm okay to placehold it and know that I can turn it into more of the Devin Booker if I want to. But you look at shooting guard, and it's just kind of a position that's pretty interesting and pretty flat. Like Dyson Daniels, you can play small forward. Quentin Grimes is pulling a decent amount of ownership, although with these other pieces of value, we do have the Sasser piece that, assuming that he starts, is still playable. But like, I think shooting guard on DraftKings, I mean, this is pretty darn flat relative to these other positions that all have like a 50% owned piece of chalk at every single spot as we go down the line. And obviously, Sandro, his ownership came way down here. I will tell you this, I love Sandro for today, assuming that he gets that start. If he doesn't, obviously I'll find a way out of it. And Grayson Allen is in as we turn it over to Josh Engleman. So that does it for Live Before Lock. He's Chris Baggs. Go follow him at Chris Baggs. That would make me happy. Any final words for the people?
Yeah, if you want to learn more about what I'm doing, check out splashplaypodcast.com. You can find my NBA channel on there, my videos. You can see what I'm doing data-wise as well. So check that out. And yeah, we got your Bucks guys getting ruled out right as the stream ends.
Well, it's only an hour. We have 1 hour of swapping around, and then we can play some late slate goodness. Couldn't even say it. But please follow him at Chris Baggs. I'm Eric Christopher Lindquist, but follow me at Eric Lindquist. That's always good stuff. Just threw my middle name in there for no reason. It's turning over to Live Afterlock with Josh Engleman right now. Come on in. The water's warm.
What up, boys?
What up? How we doing?
What up, boys? What's going on?
What a wild,
that's a terrible visual
hour
right now. What is this? Okay,
that's better.
These are good things. Look how lovely we are.
Hell of a slate we've got here, huh?
Yeah, there's definitely some things that are going to keep moving around that are going to make it interesting. But did you? I mean, you're going to be firing up bets here for the next hour with people, and we're going to have a cool interactive experience. If you guys weren't here for yesterday's show, you do want to stick around because there's some really cool stuff that Josh is building out day in, day out. Not just the rates tool that I ended up sharing there too, but I love some of the voting that you've got going, which is really fun. It's a fun, I'm not even going to call it a gimmick. It's not a gimmick.
Yeah, we're going to build a survivor parlay. It is a gimmick. It is a gimmick. We're going to build a survivor parlay for sure. And I registered the 8 o'clock turbo slate. So we're going to build those lineups as well while we're here.
It's going to be good times. Yeah. Good times. Wait, Najee Marshall starting again. All right. I guess that's not going to matter a ton to me, but Christie, Marshall, Flag, Washington, Gafford. Point Marshall in our lives. I guess point Flag, one of the two, but
point nobody more than anything, really.
That's kind of what I was getting at, which is fun. But yeah. We will get ourselves the hell up out of here for you, my friend. But Chris, I will see you tomorrow. Guys. You weren't going to do Puppet Lindquist. This was a perfect Puppet Lindquist opportunity.
Well, we didn't hit 400, did we?
Did we? Oh,
I don't think
we didn't.
I didn't look.
I didn't look, but I presume we didn't, just based on the quality of the show. the effort therein, I don't think we hit 400.
The people have spoken. They didn't want it. Surprisingly, I'm shocked. No groundswell for 400 likes.
They want more of Josh's gimmicks. They want his silly hats, his silly little apps that he gives for the people. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, we're not doing any Jeff Dunham shit from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We're going to just be normal people.
Ahmed. Oh, those are good times. Real ones, no. Are you my virgins?
All right, bye, guys.
Anyway, later for the Live Before Lock crew, now we could actually do something fun. Let's have some fun here, folks. Welcome to Live After Lock. Now we could actually get into the good stuff. It's good to see you. If you heard me a couple seconds ago, I registered the turbo slate. So Phoenix, Milwaukee, Boston, San Antonio, Toronto, Houston. We are going to build out 28 lineups. I believe that's how many entries there are in the zone, which is what I got into. So we're going to build those out. I don't know. 40 minutes from now, sometime after 7:45, we're going to get those lineups in. To start, we're going to build out some bets. Hopefully we can find some good stuff in the props tool. Maybe we find some good stuff over on the portfolio EV side, depending on which direction we want to go. How much do we want to weight the projections? It depends on the game, too. We could think about that a little bit differently. Some of these spots a little bit harder than others. Like, for example, I don't want to build a same game parlay for the Pacers and the Kings. Unless everything's an under, I want to root against that entire game. But that's a tough one to watch if you're sweating the good stuff. Minnesota Lakers would be fun, but I'll never know if my same game parlay won until the morning. That's not what I'm looking for. So we need to pick a game. To me, it feels like we should try to put something together on the Boston San Antonio game. That's the most interesting thing we've got going on today, right? At least it is to me. And we've got plenty of time to do so. And it'll go live by the time we end the... So I've got the props tool open right now. I've got a spam call happening on, though I hit decline. Nonsense. Eric's mom's hit me up. You guys didn't know that it rang. It's not the same gimmick as when you hear Eric's phone ring. But to me, it's fun. And I'm looking at this list of props here on the FanDuel side. Because FanDuel has offered up, we don't necessarily need to have everything from Celtics Spurs. We can juice this up a little bit with something tasty elsewhere. 25% profit boost, any NBA event, any bet type. So we can piece this together really however we want. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave that up to you guys. Just type it into chat. We'll be able to figure it out. Would you rather build a FanDuel parlay just in one of these games specifically? Or do you want to open it up to a bunch of different options and we build out some sort of crazy big lotto? It's up to you guys. I'm in for either. We could either go straight up single game or we could just let it rip. Letting it rip has its appeal, but you guys are going to be involved if we're just letting it rip because we're going to have a boatload of options. Yeah, I kind of figured that was the direction we were going to be going. So let's grab some of these bad boys, shall we? All right, what I'm going to do is back off of this a little bit. I'm hoping that'll be enough. This is a pretty sizable chunk of the highest EV options we have in the tool. That's got to be what we're looking for here. So I'm going to get these loaded up for you guys. Let's see how many I just grabbed. Parsing now. I did give it a bundle. Hit that like button if you want to. And links in the description for this prop tool. 15% off if you click that link. If you want to take a market-based approach to beating the NBA prop market or the NHL prop market, you can do that. You can set this slider to all the way to market if you want. You want to use our projections and go full bore straight ahead into the props, find your spots. You can do that. You can set it to 100. You can meet in the middle somewhere if you want. All of that customization is there for you across every possible sportsbook and pick'em site that you're looking for. And all of the data automatically updates on your screen. And if you want to edit these guys' minutes, points, rebounds, assists, threes, you can do that as well. All from the link in the description. I added 25 props. Now, the only downside is that my auto renamer turned Bam Adebayo into Sam Adebayo, which you definitely don't want to play Sam Adebayo, so I'm just going to remove that one. We're going to have 24 props available. I kind of want to play Survivor, but it's going to take forever. But we do need to build out something big. So let's do it. We're playing Survivor. 24 options. I will be dropping the link into chat right now. This is Survivor. I want you all to participate here with me. Click the link, enter your username, and drop a vote. We have the top 24 EV plays coming out of the prop tool at the moment. 2 of which are going to get voted off right away. And we're going to go through this until we get all the way through. We vote everybody off the island, and then we'll determine how many of these top plays we actually want to take. So get your votes in now. Once I see a pretty sizable chunk of votes, I'm going to end the round, and we're going to push it to the next round. In theory, I should have built out a mechanism to make the first round be bigger, but I'm dumb, and I forgot to do that. So as a reminder, you are eliminating this. You are not picking the one you like the most. You are picking the one you like the least. Find one you hate and get rid of it. And we do have somebody breaking free right now. I know it's a lot out there, but we do have somebody in first. You guys can't see it, but I need you to trust me. I'm going to find mine here that I should have got rid of Buzelis as well. That name spelling did not get through the old cutoff as well as you would like. All right. My vote is going to be for over 3.5 rebounds for Isaac Okoro. I'm going to send that one on its merry way. 24 of you have dropped the votes. So I'm going to end round 1. And as you guys can see, Isaac Okoro has been voted off. Thanks for following me on that journey. Jalen Smith over 5.5 rebounds has been voted off. We keep it moving. Let's vote somebody else off the island here. I'm getting rid of whatever this Buzelis prop is that appears to be broken, and I hope that you guys do too. You know what? I'm killing it right now just to get rid of it. Appreciate you guys. Alrighty. This didn't parse correctly. I'm dying here. We're dead. We're building it straight in the tool. That's what happens when you're testing stuff out. I did not put this thing through the ringer of parsing out 21 props. That was way bigger than my testing. Bastion. We're working on it. We're working on it. I'm going to talk through what I like for today, and I want to see if you guys are on the same page as me. Over 3.5 threes for LaMelo today against Portland is something that I have my eye on. I'm going to put a little pin in that one. Because I do like the spot for LaMelo here, as weird as that sounds. I definitely don't like Myron Gardner under 6.5 boards. That scares me. I would have liked to take that if I could. And honestly, I'm going to see if I can in any way. Do we have a Myron Gardner? No, we don't. Okay, I want to attack this Boston-San Antonio game just because I'm most comfortable with what this game is. I do like the Baylor Shireman under 7.5 points. So that's got us to LaMelo over 3.5 threes, Shireman under points. This just does not feel like that kind of game for Shireman, especially now with Tatum back. All right, here's the question. Coin flip right now on whether Jason Tatum scores 20 real points or not. If Shireman's not doing it, Tatum is. Tatum goes for 20 real ones. I'd like to get something in Minnesota and the Lakers since this is a real game as well. I'm incredibly nervous here. Disco, I know, but it just doesn't. It's not my vibe for this game today. I would have leaned to Desunmu there, but those are both unders, not a direction I want to go. Sorry, responding to my wife. I might be too late. She might be picking me up Chick-fil-A, but I might have responded too late, unfortunately. All right, let me take a look at Toronto and Houston, because I do think Houston wins this game pretty handily. So I'd like to get something on the Houston side. Or alternatively, an under on the Toronto side. I don't want the Mamu play. I don't want quickly. Under 8.5 rebounds and assists for RJ Barrett, I absolutely love in this spot. I kind of want one more. What does 4 legs look like? No, not what I wanted to do. Well, it is what I wanted to do, but just not into this browser. Okay, perfect. Okay, so those 4 bets. LaMelo 4 plus 3s. Shireman under 7.5 points. Tatum over 19.5 points. Barrett under 8.5 rebounds plus assists. With the 25% boost is plus 1623. I'm getting that bad boy in. Let me get this. I'm going to paste this over to Tails right now so you guys can tail it, and that way you don't have to wait for me. But this is on FanDuel, plus 1623 with the 25% boost if you haven't used it yet. Now let's get back to the data hub and talk through some of this data. Oh, tell me I actually did that wrong. Sure did. Sure did. Please still be there. Lovely. Got it. Oh, forgot to take the screenshot. When you're dumb, guys. And I am sometimes next level dumb. But you guys will be able to tail this imminently. All right. It's attached. FanDuel. All right. We are up on tails. Link coming. Then we're going to talk some DFS, and then we're going to start thinking about building out some lineups. All right. Post is up. Tails link is in chat. Follow that one. You can direct Tails link that post. You can tail directly from it. So join me on this endeavor. Oh, am I too late? I didn't find out. Oh, nice. I'm not too late. I'm going to get Chick-fil-A. What a win, folks. What a win. Oh, here I was thinking my wife was gonna get that without me. Didn't happen. Thank God. I didn't think I was gonna get that Chick-fil-A in time. Whew. Problem solved. Problem solved. All right, let's look at the data here. There's some stuff here that we obviously have known all day, whether that's the crazy Miami news, whatever. Let's react to everything that we can see here that's come out over the past couple of minutes while we were building that. Chick-fil-A is factory slop. That's a weird I mean, that's the least factory swap of it. I mean, unless we're talking like just chickens in general. But neither here nor there, I guess. So Cunningham, Sasser, Robinson, Harris, Duran going for the Pistons, which came out 6 minutes ago. You guys have gotten everything else since then. Last updated projection 712, ownership 714. So everything that we have here is crisp and new. Chick-fil-A overrated. Y'all are crazy. Crazy. Now let me figure out which one of these super chats are me. I hit Bastions. Brandon. Brown and Sasser, Hawkes, and Fox. That's got to be Hawkes and Fox for me. But it's close. But I'll go Hawkes and Fox there. So anyway, as I mentioned before, we're going to be building turbo slate lineups sometime shortly. I have not taken a look at what the turbos, like I obviously know what the turbo slate looks like, but I don't know what the turbo slate looks like when it comes to building out the lineups. So that's going to be a fun little journey through the Sims. The MSG keeps you coming back. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Look, do I like Chick-fil-A? Absolutely. Do I enjoy getting their food regularly? I do. If there was a different, some sort of chicken place on the exact same corner as Chick-fil-A, I'd go to it just as much. It's a matter of opportunity. If it were a KFC, if it were Church's, if it were anything else, I'd go to it too. It just so happens that that's the one that's there. I wish it wasn't. I wish it were something else. I'd give anything for it to be a Popeyes. It's a better chicken sandwich. But it's not, unfortunately. So I eat the shit out of some Chick-fil-A because it's the closest place to my house. It's a matter of proximity, everybody. It's the best I can do. What's my go-to order? Depends. It's either spicy chicken sandwich, pepper jack cheese, or with waffle fries, obviously. Iced coffee, clutch in the morning if you're going spicy chicken biscuit breakfast. But if I'm feeling like I don't want bread, like a lot of bread, then I'll bury the big 30-piece nugget like a boss. Like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. All right, I'm trying to react to what's going on here for this slate, but like no real appreciable differences for me here. Yakashonis at 3,500 is clearly the option you want the most coming out of our tools. I mean, that's not even close. Yeah, Jake, I don't even go grilled. Every once in a while. When I go grilled, I just feel like I should make my own chicken. You know what I mean? Like, I can do grilled chicken. I can't make their nuggets be as, like, I mean, I can, but like, I don't want to put in the work to make their nuggets. I can make the ones that aren't breaded, and they'll be good without any time. Get to DFS. Yeah, I get that. All right, let's take a peek at what my turbo slate's about to look like. This is obviously going to be a different scope. So if anybody's playing the 8 o'clock turbo, we've got Usman Jang at the top of the heap. We've got Mamu, at least as of right now, as a massive leverage play. I'm really curious to see what this ends up looking like on our next update after the 7:30 clear here. So I'm not going to go too crazy building anything out, but we are going to have some participation ribbons in a bit for when we do. That's a good question. Do I think Miles Turner gets more minutes with Portis and Sims out, or do I think that they're just limiting him? So It's a tricky question because the problem in all of this is that you would think they would just be playing Miles Turner more anyway, in lieu of playing Portis and Sims. You know, we've got Turner in for 27 minutes. It doesn't seem like he's going to get a ton of extra run. They've had no issue whatsoever going to Pete Nance in the past. We've got him in for 19 minutes. Giannis is here as well. So I doubt it. I think he's more likely to play under 20, honestly. It's hard to figure out why this Miles Turner experience isn't going great. I haven't actually looked at the advanced data on Milwaukee to see like if it's been bad. I know they haven't been around much. All right, Giannis and Turner. I mean, +7 when they're both on helps. The problem really is that there's not, I guess Ryan Rollins would be the third best option. +5.4 with Rollins. +10 with KPJ. It's hard to say. I mean, they missed out on Giannis so much. But yeah, when it comes to Turner here, I'd be very surprised if he ran up like a real big minutes number. Tizzle, no, Pete Nance sucks, so that's a bit of a problem for him. He's really atrocious. 0.68 fantasy points per minute. We got him at 1% owned. Barely ever optimal at 0.07%. Could he get more minutes? Yeah, you need a lot of them because this guy stinks. Not a Pete Nance day today. I'm so curious how this Miami situation is going to shake out. Number 1 in ownership, number 2 in ownership, number 3 in ownership. 7, 9, 10, and 11. I mean, that's bonkers. You don't see that typically. Would I touch Najee now that he's starting in particular over Larson? I don't hate it. Balmer, when you say you have 4 Heat already, is Larson one of those 4? If he's one of those 4, then I'm mostly indifferent. But if Larson would be the 5th, I'd rather have Najee. Two and a half minutes to go to get your late swaps in, folks. Don't forget that late swap tool is on stokastic.com. It's right here. You just click that. A couple button clicks later, and your lineups are updated. It's really awesome. So get your swaps in. Because we've got Detroit, Brooklyn, Washington, Miami, Dallas, Atlanta, all locking before this ramp up to the 3 additional 8 o'clock games. But I mean, you guys clearly have heard everything you could possibly want to hear about Miami at this point. Other than if you're paying attention to the screen, if it hasn't been said enough, we've got some really sizable positive leverage on Yakashonis. Some really sizable positive leverage on Drew Smith. And honestly, some really sizable positive leverage on Bam Adebayo. I hope you guys are paying attention to those gentlemen and those numbers. Because if you're using our late swap tool, you should be getting those guys. And we see that as a major, major benefit. I, for one, am happy that I don't have to deal with these Heat dudes. Because I wasn't interested in this. That's why we're taking a run at this turbo slate. So once this ticks over, we should start getting a little bit of news leaking in. We'll keep our eyes peeled to the Twitter feed. We did already get our 4-leg parlay in. And now we wait. Let's run a dummy crunch. Let's see. Actually, before we even do that, let's see what the turbo slate optimal lineup is. I mean, we're already locked and loaded and ready to go. Turbo Optimal. Amen Thompson, Devin Booker, Usman Jang, Kyle Kuzma, Miles Turner, Steph Castle, RJ Barrett, Mamu. That is a much better lineup visually than I was expecting it to be. Like, I don't really hate any of those names. It's stronger on paper than I ever thought it could be. The interesting piece to me is just going to be how much Wemby we end up with in comparison to Giannis. Because on this turbo slate, we've got Wemby pay up 18% owned, Giannis pay up 18% owned, but you also have the 18% owned Şengün at center, competing with Wemby. Well, we've crossed the 7:30 window, so now it's time. I know we're going to get updates shortly. I need to build 28 entries. The 940-person field. So let's take our first preliminary look. I'm going to build 1,500 just so I get a little bit more interesting. We'll knock it down a notch. Not that I think I should have been knocking it down a notch, but I just want to soften everything here. I want to see what 28% or 28 lineups looks like. How much spread can we get before we run this one for real? 25% to first. We're good. We'll deal with some variance in a bit. But now we're on the hunt for a winning turbo lineup. Oh, I thought it was the zone. I'm in the pull-up jumper. So I am your competition. All right, let's just see what the first 28 lineups look like and what's in it. Top 28. We are lock buttoning Mamu. 80% exposure to Kuz. 2/3 exposure to Jeng. And then a coin flip on Miles Turner. Heavy Milwaukee. Not surprising, though. I mean, it's hugging that sim ROI. Rockets will start Thompson, Eason, Durant, Smith Jr., and Şengün. Not that that was super surprising. Raptors will start quickly. Barnes. Nope. Quickly. Barrett, Ingram, Barnes, Mamu. Again, nothing crazy there. What are the big fades in that first run? Okay, big fade Vassell, big fade Carter Bryant. Little bit of a fade on Jamal Shed, Champagny, Jason Tatum, Alperen Şengün. S&P, what's that? What did you see that I didn't see? What are you uhing? You got me nervous. Did anyone else get to way more Vooch than you would ever think? Man, way to bury the lead on that one. I was super interested. I thought it was like some news. I thought something popped up. Okay, so slightly over Wemby, slightly over Giannis, slightly under Jaylen Brown, slightly under Şengün. Okay. So, minimum sim ROI in that group, 75. Minimum projection, 238. What does two uniques look like? It's already what I have. What does 3 look like? I need to see how big this spread starts to look. Okay, not bad. Projection doesn't die. ROI barely moves. Doesn't really... It flattens Milwaukee a little bit. But I mean, we are in lockstep with those sim ROI numbers. Probably got a bit too much Derek White. That's going to be a guy that we're going to try to walk back depending on if that sticks around. That's a story for another day. We got to wait for some news. Anybody doing anything interesting so far? Suns will start Gillespie, Green, Booker, O'Neal, Iguodaro. 28-22 Grizz. Bucks will start Rollins, Usman Jang, Kyle Kuzma, Giannis, Miles Turner. All right, who's going crazy here for either one of these teams? Gigi Jackson has 7 points and a board. Ty Jerome has 8, 3, and 1. Cedric Howard is 9 and 4. See what happens when the real people play? Let's see. Philly is 11 and 2 for Oubre, 2 and 1 for Adem Bona. Not a lot going great on the Philly side. Much more of a Grizzlies Sixers option so far. And we're holding serve on lineups as well. I forgot to put some tunes on. I was wondering why everything sounded so lame in my ears. Let's feed the ducks. There we go. Get some easy listening to close it out. White, Brown, Hauser, Tatum, Gata, Fox, Castle, Vassell, Champagny, Wembanyama. We're holding serve. Is that everybody? Rockets, Raptors, Suns, Bucks. That's everybody, right? Spurs, Celtics, Bucks, Suns, Raptors, Rockets. Yeah, we square. That went off without a hitch. Weight is on now. Not going to be much of an update here, but it will be interesting to see how ownership is impacted on a refresh. Do I think Giannis was a reasonable pivot off of Jalen Johnson? I mean, as reasonable as anybody can be, I guess. It's hard for me to speak too ill of Giannis. He's Giannis. He's one of those names where like the answer is just kind of yes by default. Oh, wife is at Chick-fil-A at the moment, folks. We got to get some lineups in here, and then I'm going to go munch a sandwich and some French fries while I watch some sort of television show. Let's get back to the data hub as we ramp up for the 8 o'clock turbo slate. And then I try to find out just how much is Kyle Kuzma going to jump in this ownership mark now. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun. Oh. I really, really, really don't want a ton of Kyle Kuzma. I just don't enjoy rooting for that dude. It's not fun. I know I'm going to get a lot of Usman Jang. I know that's happening. And I know I'm going to get a lot of Mamu. I don't really see a way around that one either. Especially if this information stays even remotely close to what it is. Who's our highest leverage play prior to this? It's Mamu and Hugo Gonzalez. Okay. It'll be interesting to see how much Hugo we get after a refresh. Because we're going to want to pay attention to these leverage numbers. It's going to drive a lot of what we're doing here. But realistically, we gotta pray that we don't get too much Kyle Kuzma. More than anything, we got to pray that Kyle Kuzma doesn't show up as the excessive positive value that he is. John Daly, nice. Spurs, Celtics, and Josh is watching The Voice. Josh is not watching The Voice. I would not watch The Voice. Jerry Wick, Chick-fil-A is overrated. You're overrated, Jerry. You're Jerry Wick. People only care about John, man. Nobody cares about Jerry. John Wick is like the ninja of all ninjas. Jerry Wick is like in the reserves. I'm team John Wick. You Baba Yaga. Do we think that Ty Jerome has a real ceiling? I mean, he can't guard anybody. That's really his problem. He's great for regular season situations. It's your last name. It's his last name, too. Team John Wick. Ooh. I'm more of a John Wick guy than a Matrix guy now. But I was definitely a big Matrix guy. Ooh, projections are up. That's how you know. Rich is in here dropping tidbits, talking about jokes. That means he's kicked off an ownership run and he's free to get back to business. Matrix is the far better film. I mean, I'm trying to judge it on its collective. All three against the four Wicks. Ownership is in. Let's take a look at the leverage numbers here. That's not the turbo slate. That is the turbo slate. Massive positive leverage on Mamu. Massive positive leverage on Hugo Gonzalez. Then it falls off a bit, but Kyle Kuzma is in fact third. Ew. Pretty sizable positive leverage on Giannis and Scotty Barnes. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on those guys. Derek White looking a little bit better here. Big negative leverage on Shed, Durant, Carter Bryant, Pete Nance, Ousmane Dieng. Now it's time to figure out where we're going. So let's generate a contest. And let's find out what 28 lineups I am about to play for tonight's turbo slate before we get out of here. Hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. Tomorrow will likely look same as today. What kind of schedule do we have going on for hump day? 6-gamer tomorrow. 7:30 lock as well, which means this show is 7:30 to 8:30. That's all right. Cavs Magic, fun game. Rockets Nuggets, fun game. We might get this full slate tomorrow. I assume we do. If it's out already, you guys can tell me. But that's a really awesome 6-gamer if it is. Swap at 8, swap at 9, swap at 10, swap at 10:30. I'll take that. I'll take that all day. All righty. Pool is generated. 25% to first. Now let's think about how I feel about some of these guys. I am going to bump the variance on Ousmane Dieng a bit. Pretty well trust everybody else at the top here. Thought I was going to have more tweaks that I wanted to make. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm going to take one notch off of Tatum as well. Let's see what we get. By all accounts, I'm expecting to have Mamu in either 27 of the 28 lineups that I could play or all 28. Also, is this going to overlay or did I just not refresh my screen? Yeah, I did not refresh my screen. All right, here we go. Let's figure out what we're doing. First things first. Top 28 lineups. Let me get my scratch pad. Let me get my pen. Hit the like button if you haven't done it yet. 238.07. 62.9. Okay. First things first. Adios to dupes. Let's look at these top 28 now. 60.1. All right. Top 28 gives me 100% Mamu. He's in 28 of my 28 lineups. Ousmane Dieng is in 75%. Kuzma in 60. Turner in 43. The one guy I see that I need to end here is Ousmane Dieng. I'm going to manually bring that dude down below projected. So first things first, I'm taking Ousmane Dieng down, and I'm going to exposure. Actually, how much does a 15% ROI boost affect him? Not as much as I'd like. Actually, well, let's just make it 20. Will that take him down like 40s? 39. I'm going to go one more notch. 25% negative ROI boost to Ousmane Dieng. Takes him down to 35% exposure. Cool. I'm happy with that. I'm fine with Mamu, but I am going to cap him. I don't need him in everything. He's not that great of a play. He's a great play. He's not that great of a play. I'm going to cap at 80. Okay, that's 2. Anybody slipping through the cracks that we don't want? All right, fading Durant, good. Fades all look pretty good. That's the right 20% of Hugo Gonzalez. I love it. I do kind of want to knock Kuzma down just a hair. Maybe negative 10. Okay, 50% Kuzma, fine. Probably more Miles Turner than I want. Two Xing Giannis, which is scary. Kind of limits me a little bit on the Wemby piece. I'm going to manually bump up Wemby. 10% ROI boost. No way. 5% ROI boost. Okay, 25% of Wemby. Still have a big chunk of Giannis. Under on Durant, which was the goal. I'm going to knock down Şengün as well. He doesn't grade out very well in this sim. That takes him down to 10%. All right, this is going to be it. These are going to be the exposures I'm running for the Turbo. 82% Mamu. 54% Kuzma. 54% Miles Turner. 46% Steph Castle, 43% Dylan Harper. That's everybody 40 or higher. In terms of big leverage, way under on Ousmane Dieng, way under on Colin Gillespie, way under on Jalen Green. Half the field on KD. Biggest stands, Mamu, Turner, Castle, Harper, Hugo Gonzalez. So let's get this one into the entry manager. And I'll see you guys at the top of the pull-up jumper today, baby. Coming for that number 1 spot. But on that note, I've got a chicken sandwich to go eat. We have built some Turbo Slate lineups. We've got a FanDuel parlay with a 25% boost posted on Tails. Link has been posted so you can follow along. We can all win that one together. You guys can't win this DFS contest with me, but you absolutely positively can win that bet. Tomorrow, strategy show, bright and early, 9 a.m. So come on in, hang out with me. It's been a fun day. I hope you guys have a great night. Win some money. If you do, tag us on Twitter. at Stochastic HOF if you've got our avatar, which you can get stochastic.com/HOF. Later, everybody.